Did Putin just show us the future of Bitcoin, of energy money, of commodity money, primary wealth? Blame Putin? Putin price hikes, right? Putin came out and said it. The US dollar is failing as a currency, and why would you take dollars in exchange for real goods and services? The US plays this scam on people that we just give them pieces of paper and they send us goods. They send us cars, they send us stereos, they send us food, they send us the primary wealth, and we just have tertiary wealth here in America. We don't provide or manufacture or do anything anymore. So primary and tertiary wealth is terms we need to get very familiar with. And the U.S. has really put themselves on the defensive because we are, and Putin is calling it out in this article. And thank you for Stack Hodler for sharing this. That is an interview Putin did. It's a long article. I believe Adam Townsend has it on his website. You're not going to find it anywhere in the Western media. Putin says here, under the cloud of inflation, many developing nations are asking a good question. Why exchange goods for dollars and euros that are losing value right before our eyes? Global currency reserves are at $7.1 trillion and 2.5 trillion euros right now. These reserves are devalued at an annual rate of about 8%. I think that's probably low. Moreover, they can be confiscated or stolen at any time if the United States dislikes something in the policy of the states involved. And again, read the Confessions of an Economic Hitman by John Perkins and IMF, and what the U.S. does to weaponize the dollar and use the dollar as a tool to fight other countries and to fight other people that they do not like, right, wrong, or indifferent. And that is why you must understand, as a citizen, as an individual, you are no better than a nuclear superpower. If America can do it to a nuclear superpower and freeze their assets, $600 billion plus dollars, what says they aren't going to do it to you? We just saw the Canadian government did it to their own people. So, with the writings on the wall, I don't have to tell you anything. You can see this. I think has become a very real threat, Putin says, for many countries that keep their gold and foreign exchange reserves in these currencies, a la the dollar, euro, peso, yen, etc. A conversion of global reserves will begin. They will be converted from weakening currencies into real resources like food, energy, commodities, and other raw materials. Read that again. That is so important going forward. We are transitioning in this world into Bretton Woods 3. This is really a different time we are entering, and those that have the wealth will make the rules. Those that have primary wealth, those that have the assets, those that have the raw materials, the energy, the commodities, the energy money will win. Obviously, this process will further fuel global dollar inflation, and this will happen as the dollars will come home to roost. People are going to continue getting rid of their dollars, getting rid of their dollar-denominated debts, a la the bonds, and so those dollars are going to come back to America. Mike Maloney talks about this a lot. Those dollars come back to America and increase inflation even more than we're seeing now. That's a hyperinflationary scenario because I think it's about 60% or so. Many reports have 60% plus of all dollars are outside of the U.S. So just imagine the inflation we're having here in the U.S. right now. Just imagine 60% more dollars in circulation, because most of that is around the world right now, majority of it. That is mind-blowing, and that's because all these countries where the world reserve currency have to hold dollars. Well, if they start getting rid of it, like we're seeing, like Russia and China have already done, and these global leaders are now saying, well, good luck. And that's where they're trying. The global elites are trying to squeeze, as Greg Manarino points out so astutely. They're trying to squeeze the middle class and get them to beg for everything. He thinks there's going to be famine. People are begging for government to do something, and that's when, boom, now we're ready with central bank digital currencies, which we'll talk about more here going forward in this article, but also in future blog posts and videos here this week, talking about the evilness of central bank digital currencies and what's going to happen, and what they are trying to wait for, really the last 12 years or so, trying to get CBDCs ready to implement and bribe you to have those, to give all of your freedoms away and to suck at the teat of the federal government, and give your life away to them. Commodities are the things that have real value. Primary versus tertiary wealth are terms we need to focus on moving forward. My prediction is the government will ban cash. So this is the gold bugs have been worrying about 6102, but it doesn't mean you shouldn't hold some cash in the meantime, because I'm sure they'll give you a window to transfer your cash over to something else. Well, I believe they will, but there definitely be so many people have cash. That's why there'll definitely be a period where they will ban cash and allow a transition to get your central bank digital currency, and they'll bribe you. They'll say, we'll give you $10,000. They'll give you whatever, and this is kind of that MMT, modern monetary modern monetary theory transition. And there's so many people that have cash still that there would be civil unrest and people in the streets if they just said, hey, we're banning it. Sorry, you can't use your cash anymore. So there's going to be a transition period. I would expect. I haven't seen anyone say that, but I would imagine there's going to be a transition period. So you better go use that to buy assets, to go buy gold, silver, Bitcoin, whatever it is, to go buy things outside of the elite's control. We've all heard of the war on cash, and it has to do with two things, truly: inflation eroding our purchasing power and the government hating cash because they can't track it that well. The government cannot track cash easily, if at all, hence why they want a digital blockchain type asset, which is their own, the central bank digital currency, so they can spy and promote any type of monetary policy on individuals indirectly or directly. This is, Big Brother, it's 1984. Brave New World. We're talking repression and oppression at a massive scale. The gold bugs are worried about Executive Order 6102 and confiscating gold, but they are going to confiscate dollars instead. This is why I have placed my bet in Bitcoin, the only permissionless, fully open, immutable, censorship-resistant, unconfiscatable monetary network that is completely apolitical and open, all the way from the homeless person on the side of the road, all the way up to the most evil or most saintly person in the world. That's why Bitcoin will win. The free market will choose it. And again, Putin, regarding freezing of foreign exchange reserves and assets, the very principles of global economic system have taken a blow. Fundamental business notions as business reputation, the inviolability of property, and trust in global currencies have been seriously damaged. When I spoke at the Davos Forum, so Klaus Schwab and the World Economic Forum, a year and a half ago, I also stressed that the era of a unipolar world order has come to an end. So this is the deglobalization process we've seen. I want to start with this, as there is no way around it. The era has ended despite all attempts to maintain and preserve it at all costs. This has been central banks printing currencies and destroying people's wealth and destroying the middle class, enriching themselves because they know that the game is up and they're trying to transfer the wealth as much as possible to keep the system, because they don't want to crash at the same time. They don't want to crash on their hands. They just want to kick the can down the road. They know it's going to enrich themselves and the people that have assets. They just continue doing it, holding assets. Why you see people with insider trading going down, the Fed, and they're insider trading left and right because they know what's going on, and they're getting caught, and then they just get a golden parachute and get sent out into the sunset and say, all right, we'll go find some other schmuck to come in, replace you, have fun. So this is why this is so important, because you can put yourself on the side of the central bankers, and while also rooting the evil out at the same time by owning, say, Bitcoin. And that's why I own Bitcoin. I believe that will be the asset that will be the Trojan horse that erodes all the elite's power and grows your wealth more than any other asset. But I still have other assets too, which we'll talk about. In order to sidestep control and power, we must not give up any more of ours freely. Governments and elites work for us, and they have forgotten that fact. We can vote via our feet and moving, and that's why you've seen these global corporate minimum taxes and stuff. Governments hate that you can just go to another country and go start a business there or go move there and not pay them taxes. How dare you do that? How dare you have free choice over your life? So you can vote via your feet, that's tougher, but you can also vote via your wallets, and that's taking your money from the banking system, taking your money out and putting it into something that, like we just said, has all the properties of Bitcoin. Could be gold and silver as well. Take your money out of that system. Could be a little bit of cash. I have a couple months of cash in my bank account, and that's it. Everything else is in other assets, including the Bitcoin network, as you saw in my portfolio construction last month. As they continue to destroy the currency, by the way, again, we're going to monthly do these portfolio constructions and showing you what I have and how we've, 4x our net worth just in the last couple months, or last couple years, and 15x it in the last 10 years. So as they continue to destroy the currency, like Putin mentioned, printing 40% more currency in the last 2 years, prices will continue going up by the exact same amount. Stackholder says, again, here is Putin. Sanctions as a weapon have proved in recent years to be a double-edged sword, damaging their advocates and architects just as much, if not more. And again, I'm not a Putin proponent, and some people think he's Hitler, and that's fine. I don't know. I'm not a geopolitical expert. I don't think he's a good guy, and I don't think that that's something that we really need to be focusing on. That's not the point of it. It is really, more importantly, it is something that we need to heed his words. We need to make sure we are heeding what he is saying, whether we know who it is or not. Just think of it as someone else. As they say, you have to take evil people or bad people at their word. If someone who's evil, someone who's bad is saying something to you, you should probably listen to it. You should probably take it to heart. And that goes for good people as well. But people just dismiss something that is said because it's such and such, or because it's so and so. It's trust but verify for really anyone in the world. That verify part is so incredibly important because we have to trust what people are saying. If they're saying, someone's saying something to us, we probably should look into that and say, okay, well, I believe you. Now we got to look into it. Now we got to verify it. Look at your track record. As they continue to destroy the currency, like Putin mentioned, again, 40% across the board. And now we have seen prices go up 40%. They went from, the imports have gone from 250 billion a year to 350 billion. So the exact 40% ratio Putin points out. So again, this week we'll have articles on central bank digital currencies and vlog videos come out on both channels coming out about CBDCs and the evilness that will ensue, plus those that ridicule Bitcoin and say it's not a store of value or an inflation hedge. And we'll talk about inflation itself and what truly is inflation, because we've been hoodwinked and they've actually changed the definition. Again, this is how much the elites are lying to everybody. This is what, again, my channel, our newsletter, everything I do is hopefully to just I've spent my life studying these things, studying freedom, studying the American founding, studying monetary history, and just trying to put the pieces together. This is my life, my love, besides my family, and that's what I love doing. And they have hoodwinked us. Inflation is not, we think it's a monetary phenomenon anywhere and everywhere. As Milton Friedman, I believe it's Milton Friedman, said that. So it is truly something that is just currency printing. That's all it is. They think it's, price gouging and evil corporations doing this and that. No, it has nothing to do with that. True inflation, the real definition, is a monetary phenomenon anywhere and everywhere. It is just currency printing. That is it. Those dollars all have to go somewhere. So this goes back to some of our previous videos and articles talking about deflation and the true way to usher in more peace and prosperity for the world, making everything in life cheaper and more abundant through deflation. The monetary inflation we have via the central bankers inflating our currency and transferring wealth from the poor and middle class to themselves. And it's staggering. It enables all the wealth inequality and destruction we are seeing, and the unrest that is ensuing and will continue to ensue, and it will get worse. This is Putin, we all hear about the so-called Putin inflation in the West. When I see this, I wonder who they expect would buy this nonsense. People who cannot read or write, maybe? Anyone literate enough to read would understand what is actually happening. So they printed more money, and then what? Where did it all go? It was obviously used to pay for goods and services outside Western countries. This is where the newly printed currency, she says money, but it's really currency flowed. Money is gold and silver or Bitcoin. It has the properties of money. Currency does not. Dollars do not. They literally began to wipe out global markets. So remove yourself from the system. Become independent by being your own bank. Yes, it's going to feel like you're operating nuclear codes, but at first, but think of yourself as your own Brinks truck, your own vault that is storing your wealth digitally in your cold storage wallet, or the 12 to 24 words in your head. Putin is right. We've entered a new world and it's not going back. Times have changed, and those that keep up with it are going to succeed massively and usher in the greatest abundance we've ever seen. If we are slow to react, we could be looking at dystopia never before seen on this planet, aka the Brave New World, George Orwell's 1984, and it's going to be via the central bank digital currencies. I've had people ask me why I shill Bitcoin so much. Is there a monetary incentive for me to do that? Of course there is. It's because the more people are on the network, the more value accrues and the price eventually goes up. That's the genius behind the game theory that plays out. This is why billionaires and countries and sovereign wealth funds and insurance companies are all looking at this and jumping on board daily. However, the bigger reason and the most important reason that I do this is for my kids, our posterity, and it's after the arguing and debating I've done in the political realm for 10 to 20 years, I realized that Bitcoin solved all those problems I was just spouting hot air about without thinking about right or left, liberal or conservative, or right and wrong. It just took the power from the globalists right from underneath their nose and gives it back to the everyday person. The Bitcoin paper is the new Constitution. It is the Bill of Rights, the modern day Bill of Rights. The Trojan horse will silently solve many of the problems and the divisions we have because of the sound monetary properties it entails, unlike the current global monetary system built on inflation, a house of lies and deceit. What better way to become your own central banker and own your wealth while also growing it at the same time? I have seen nothing like it in all my years of studying history, politics, money, and investing. With great freedom comes a great responsibility. Stay strong. And again, we'll have articles about inflation, what is inflation, how the dollar has done against Bitcoin over the last 10 years. People talking, is it really a hedge or is it really a store of value? And the data is, and the charts are going to shock you. We have articles again about central bank digital currencies and where that's going and the evilness that is. So if you like this content, if you know someone like it or dislike it, please dislike it so we know how we can change, or comment. Please share it as well. Please like and subscribe. And this is what we love doing. This is what we love, helping everyone with and talking about. And because it comes down to freedom at the end of the day. So we appreciate you, your time, your energy is the most important asset we have. And we look forward to seeing you on the next one.